If you've ever watched a bad anime, you just might have seen one of these guys just chilling around, chilling about. You know, dark hair, plain face, dark clothes, stands out, but not really, you know, somewhat androgynous for some reason. That guy, otherwise known as the placeholder MC, you know, these guys, their population have been declining since the peak of the early 2010s, the battle school days, but you still see them around often enough, especially in our new burgeoning isekai genre. Now, quick rundown of these guys, you know, they don't actually like doing anything interesting, but the camera really just loves following them for some reason, so the story just happens to them, and we need to see everything in this world through a Nintendo Labo character. You can't really discern anything that this guy would do on his own or anything unique about him, but for some reason, the story is just spilling his cojones over itself to make sure he's involved in anything that ever happens in this world because he's apparently a special boy. Now, there's a common name for this guy. They call him the self-insert guy, who you're just supposed to pretend to be you. Now, technically, the proper term for these guys is audience surrogate, since the author isn't inserting, you are being inserted. Pause on that, pause, big pause. But I'm not gonna dive too deep into semantics, cause I hate these pieces of shit too much for that. Like, has a man ever annoyed you by just existing in their own universe? Because, oh my god, I wish all these guys get boiled in lava with their writing ass, stupid ass, useless ass, cast and side characters watch and do nothing like they usually do anyway. But look, there's a reason why I'm hating so hard. In their prime, these guys are tricking so many fans by just running around out there with nothing but a 25-foot plot rod attached to the top of their head, waiting for that shit to hit them. People who tune in weekly to watch these loaves of white bread just do fucking nothing interesting. This era will eventually be studied in a lab as a guide on how to trick the masses, and that one little sword boy that broke into the mainstream somehow will be used to reverse engineer a new version of the atom bomb. In fact, that's going on right now, but I'm gonna get back to that later. Right now, I get to happily report to you that these bitches are being hunted into a dwindling population in the anime world, which is brilliant for anime PR in the long run, because nowadays, you ask somebody who doesn't know about anime but is on the internet enough to see current ones, you know, they'll probably point out Shonen Jump characters, and if they're trying to take the plunge a few levels down, maybe some a little off-kilter shit. But back in the day, if you like seasonal anime, you had one face to the name. You absolutely could not stop any snobby anime hater from just showing you an image of 19 of these boys in the collage whenever any kind of conflict was instigated. That was your man's, your boy. Ownage ensues. Awful time. Just, you can't bring that shit up in casual conversation back then. Now, it simmered down a little bit, and mostly nobody cares. But before I get any further, I gotta get a little scientific, tell you exactly what I got, categorize what I'm talking about. From the family of white bread and the genus of Shokupan lies two similar but different men. The romance guy, normal guy who gets girls like crazy for no reason. And second, action guy, normal guy that gets superpowers and just trivializes like any fight ever. Now these two, they're like alligators and crocodiles. If I put them side to side, the untrained eye wouldn't even really be able to tell the difference most of the time. But look closer and you'll see certain exclusive traits. And I mean besides the fact that one of them can destroy continents and the other goes to high school. I'm talking about how they are as people, obviously. The romance template observed in nature is usually a nice guy. Not ugly or attractive, but extremely scared of a commitment like he is attractive, while also coincidentally being super oblivious and unable to pick up a signal like he is ugly. And most often, this specimen will have women falling over each other to capture him. But for some reason, despite fighting over the same man, they got absolutely zero problem with each other. I mean, they could, but also, sometimes these girls have entire arcs where these women with no history and who vehemently hate each other just suddenly go like, yeah, we're gonna form a lifelong friendship with you specifically because we like the same man. Like that's not ridiculous. But I'm getting off track. This video ain't about these girls. However, their shows are about these girls. So of course, the guy we're talking about ain't never really all that. He's a game manager main character, you know, the anime equivalent of Tua turned the ball over. He's never a playmaker or does anything cool that you'd clip or put in an edit or anything. All he's there for is to get the camera to the characters that everybody actually came to watch every Saturday. His job is to be invisible and neutral as possible so that the real stars shine. Would the shows be better if there's a better main character? Probably, but that's hard to get. And also, it just makes the whole inserting yourself way harder if the guy's discernible in any way besides is nice to girls sometimes. Now that we've got the report and his older cousin, let's get into the more modern and prominent issue, the action guy. This guy can start as the nice guy like the romance man, but he is a little bit of an evolution. He's allowed to change his one central personality trait almost completely if he really wants to. Like vengeful misogynist with mommy issues, or completely pragmatic emotionless alpha sigma phi that always takes advantage of literally everything that ever happens. You can actually do all that because unlike his older cousin, there really isn't any reason why he can't have personality. So there'll be a distinct personality trait or two that these guys will have that you can kind of latch on to. And because of all that, now we can obviously leave him out to dry and centralize the entire story around him. You know, I want to call him an empty stats main character, because he's just compelling enough to where you think he can carry a show, and you could even do it up to a level of mediocrity while putting on some spectacular performances. But at the same time, you're fooling yourself if you think you can get any more than that. You're deciding to put out set pieces that make him look better instead of an actual team around him to make him better. The villains don't really need to mean anything, just have them talk in black speech bubbles and kill fodder pretending like they have a goal or something. But where do we get this fodder? Well, obviously, we also don't need any side characters doing anything because it would just take raw touches away from the MC, so just start dumping them. You know, anything is cool as long as you can use it to exploit the raw tax. Which is to say, as long as you have scenes where that guy just overwhelmingly dominates his opposition, it'll get the job done. You don't gotta worry about like building up an enemy that can do more than a wet fart to the main character. Just draw one panel really good and change the color of his speech bubble and voila! He's so crazy, bro. That's the GOAT. And also, now that I've talked about both of these, the more astute of you viewers might be thinking that you've seen the action and the romance guys mixed up. And that's because, unlike crocodiles and alligators, these two are actually close enough to where you can crossbreed them and end up with a new species with diluted forms of both. Again, these guys were a dying breed due to ecological constraints choking them out their niche. But they're never gonna die out, it's too easy. With the premiere slop, you'll still see these action and romance guys everywhere. However, these species, particularly the Action Man, have now found new life invading a different ecosystem in webtoons, mercilessly choking out series with the Mr. Hydrogen Bomb vs. Coughing Baby shtick, but for 300 chapters over multiple years now. And this is exactly what set me off, because I thought that we would have learned from our lessons about a decade ago, but now we got the same bullshit. No plot, no writing, just look at this pretty picture, bro, but this time it's in color. The people are still out there getting tricked by anonymous Bailey Zappies in their shows when there's real playmakers out there. Here, they ain't doing nothing but putting makeup on a pile of shit here. That's part of what makes me mad seeing them. They're like half a person, but because of the main character, you still gotta be there most of the time. It's like if I took a normal group of friends, put an iPad with it that has ChatGPT check to speech on it, and told the entire group that the iPad needs to be at least 40% of the conversation. That's what it feels like watching these motherfuckers trying to hold the conversation in a goddamn webcomic. Oh, but don't worry, anytime you think this guy's about to go some real deal adversity that changes him forever with a real villain, it's actually just easy as hell. It usually goes something like this. Hey, that guy looks really scary and threatening. He just throttled that guy. He's supposed to be top 10 in the verse. You think we're gonna have some crazy fight with him? No, bro, don't worry about it. I just unlocked 7 new powers. Just watch that guy cry for 3 minutes, and then just completely forget about the guy actually in like 5 chapters, because he actually sucked compared to this new guy. Think that was a little weird? Don't worry, it's cool because he's serious while doing it, and we just told you he trained for 3 weeks. I mean, he wasn't in any real danger. Nothing really happened, and I showed you like 3 panels total of it, and he just instantly got stronger. But trust me, bro, he earned that shit for real. You just got locked into the story. Shake my hand, buddy. That's the next 3 arcs. Welcome to the future, bro. Now, me personally, this is insulting on a deeply personal level, and if I ever sniff out this character in a show I might have otherwise enjoyed, there will be consequences. I think that everyone that has ever made these characters in a mainstream context is nothing but a sham fanfic writer that should be stabbed with barbed wire and strung up and have their execution televised to every writer's room in the world to set an example to any bitch-ass writer who gets any funny ideas about making this stupid shit up in a show I want to watch. But that's just my opinion, bro. Don't get mad at me.